John, good Monday morning to you. Here we go, number 18. And interestingly enough, you have very interesting speakers this year and performers. We know George Clooney is going to kick it all off. And then Christina Aguilera will be performing at your gala. So I got to ask, first off, what sort of financial matters will George be illuminating on?
Well, actually, you know, he's very involved with Africa. He's very involved in the Sudan. He has a project there, and he's going to be talking about charity and the responsibility of celebrities, the responsibility of people who are better off to work in the charitable world. So he's not going to be talking about financials per se, but he is going to be talking about charity. And as you know, that's very important with CLSA. Our Chairman's Trust plays a very big role in everything that we do.
Okay, well, that's a very serious answer. Expecting you to ask about his Nespresso sponsorship or bringing the good coffee to the forum. But okay, so George Clooney will kick it all off, and you have how many attendees? Usually numbering in thousands, right?
Yeah, it's over 1,600 this year. It's our biggest forum ever, number 18. And our third in a period of economic uncertainty.
Yes, that's right. Let's talk about economic uncertainty and what a time it is, because you have this European debt crisis. You also have the Fed meeting taking place this week. What do you think will dominate discussions?
Well, obviously, people, you know, the theme of this forum is to look beyond the crisis, because we've sat with this crisis for 3 years. We know what the issues are, and we know that policymakers aren't doing anything about them yet. The point is that we really can't tell how policymakers are going to respond. What we can do is look at how this might resolve itself and what that means for stocks, and that is the focus of the forum. But I can tell you that 3 years is a long time to be sitting with some of the same issues and not being able to resolve them.
I bet. It sounds like deja vu. We were talking about these issues before your 2009 or 2008 forum, so here we go once again. But earlier this year, you were predicting a rebound. You're a bullish, optimistic kind of guy. That hasn't come to fruition. What has disappointed you about
what is disappointing CLSA is not the atmosphere in Asia, because Asia is actually doing quite well. What it is that people don't want to take on risk for obvious reasons. You know, you still have imbalances between the United States and China, you have imbalances in Europe, and you have these global imbalances that need to be resolved. And until those are resolved, I'm afraid you're going to see a lot of volatility, followed by periods of calm, followed by periods of volatility.
Yeah, is there enough business to go around these days? You know, you have a lot of brokers on the street here in the Asia-Pacific saying, you know, maybe there are too many brokers for the business that's coming in. Is that true? You're looking at me like
news to CLSA, we have a record August.
Yeah, record August?
Record August.
Meaning?
It was our best August on record ever in terms of business in Asia. Commissions, business overall.
Wow.
Yeah. So, look, I think that there's a lot of new entrants into the marketplace. Those new entrants create a lot of noise for the time being, but they come and go.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So are you still expecting a turnaround for the end of this year? Is that still
in terms of our own business, or in terms of the marketplace?
Just in terms of the climate itself. The
I think it's going to be difficult.
The market's climate.
I think you have a situation right now that's acute. I think that policymakers so far haven't done much to solve that. And I think that this year is going to be very volatile. So we're expecting volatility through the end of the year.
Okay. Well, let's also talk about working in the financial industry, because I'm sure you've read the headlines about UBS, this huge trading loss, $2.3 billion. You know, I know you're the CEO of this big brokerage house here in the Asia-Pacific. How do you feel for someone like, you know, Mr. Grubel, who would stay on despite this trading loss? I mean, you know, you oversee thousands of people, hundreds of people, employees. Would you stay on if this happened at CLSA?
Well, I really can't talk for somebody else, but let me just say this. Trading losses can happen everywhere. From what I read, though, this loss happened over a long period of time, and there's something wrong with your fundamental risk systems if you have an error like that happening over time like that. So I'm a little bit not concerned, I should say, but skeptical that we know the real ins and outs of what happened. Yeah,
I'm sure that people will be talking about this at the CLSA conference as well.
You know, look, episodically you get this. I don't think that this is an event that impacts things long term, although it might impact obviously regulation long term, and it couldn't come at a worse time for the street.
Absolutely. Sentiment, and come at a worse time for UBS itself.
Well, you have the Vickers report out in the UK. You have regulators in the U.S. trying to understand how to regulate the marketplace, and this shows that large banks with systematic risk should not be intertwined with, you know, deposit-taking companies, so on and so forth. So, you know, if we saw Glass-Steagall back in place, it wouldn't bother me.